From the first arrivals on these shores to Singapore's leap into a digital future, the Singapore River has seen it all. So what better place to have National Day Parade 2019 than in the heart of where it all began? In fact, the river will be central to our celebrations today. A very good afternoon, Singapore. I'm John Leong, bringing you live coverage of NDP 2019 from the Padang, and by extension, what we know as the Old City Hall, the scene of so many iconic moments in our history. In short, you might say it's the birthplace of modern Singapore. That's right, the parade is back at the Padang after 4 years, and how about this to mark the return? The crowds here already turning up the volume. All of them getting ready to celebrate this National Day Parade. The Padang wave already in full flow. And this year we're marking Singapore's bicentennial, 200 years from when modern Singapore was founded by Stamford Raffles. And we'll be charting that journey as you know it through our collective eyes. Those who've come before, those like you and me who are forging ahead into the future. And that's why this year's theme is Our Singapore, to really cement the fact that we all have a collective stake and ownership in this island that we call our home. Always a great way to start the National Day Parade with a Padang wave. Now, Our Singapore is also the name of this year's NDP theme song, which features 27 of Singapore's biggest and brightest musical talents. We're going for a short break now, but stay tuned. I'll be telling you more when we come back.
I'd like to donate these books. I no longer have space for them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Where do you get that book?
A man donated it. Dad.
Yes?
I'm sorry, but I need to retrieve
I
one
will
of...
leave you looking for this.
No, not this one. May I look in there?
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Return the book.
They said gaming is a waste of time. And it isn't a real business. They said, I don't know my limits. Well, I guess they were right on one thing. I don't know my limits.
Download UOB Mighty.
I am a naval diver, frogman from the sea. I will swim faster, run further, and fight harder from the sea, air, and land. I will fight with all my might and bravely overcome the enemies in defense of my land. I will be bold and daring with an unwavering will-do attitude. I will carry out my duty with honor and integrity. I will care for my teammates, and I will never leave a fallen comrade behind. Loyalty, courage, integrity, and team spirit distinguish me. I am a naval diver. Frogman from the sea.
Breaking into an overseas market will always be challenging. Disappointment is a natural part of the journey. But I stood by my passion and remained dedicated to my craft.
I'm sure you had a party.
What makes a nation? Is it the songs that move its people? Or its history, witnessed through new eyes? Perhaps it's the culture that bonds everyone. A desire to cherish its diversity. Where everyone, big or small, has a part to play.
I'm sure you had a party.
12 days of the best Singapore documentaries, only on CNA.
Download UOB Mighty.
Something out of nothing, especially when the road ahead's a rocky one. But if we gather all our courage and conviction and hold our dream up high, the challenge will be won. So now we look around us and we see a nation built with love by you and me, a land to treasure right down to the core. Our home, our heart, our Singapore.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to warmly welcome our Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Tang Chuan Jin, and the members of Parliament.
Singapore's members of parliament now taking their seats, led by Speaker of Parliament Tan Chuan Jin. This is his second year attending the NDP as Speaker. And this is where we usually see an eclectic array of outfits, but two colours, as always, stand out: the red and white of Singapore. And you can see there those happy faces, eagerly anticipating what I'm sure will be a fantastic show for everyone, whether they're watching at home, at the Padang, or overseas as well. There's Marine Parade GRC MP Fatimah Latif. What a grand occasion it is, this National Day at the Padang. Outfits ranging from the classic to the elegant to the chic of Dr. Lily Neo, MP for Jalan Besar GRC. And just a reminder for everyone posting on social media, this year's official hashtags are Our Singapore and NDP 2019. You're listening to a variation of this year's theme song, also called Our Singapore, in line with this year's theme. But this take really builds up the anticipation for what promises to be an energizing celebration this evening. If you're not bobbing your head to the music already, well, perhaps now's the time.
Performers from Academy of Stars, Dance People, Touch Community Services, Marshall House, and our 5 child singers for that energetic rendition of Our Singapore. Please join me in giving them a very warm round of applause. And now, let's all welcome our hosts for this evening, Sonia Chu, Joaquim Gomez, Siti Khalija, and Abby Shankara!
What's up, Singapore? I'm Sonia Chu. Welcome to NDP 2019.
And I'm Joaquim Gomez.
I'm Siti Khalija, wishing all of you a great NDP.
What's up, Singapore? I'm Abby Shankara.
And you know what? We are back at the Padang for yet another historical NDP in our bicentennial year.
We have a very special evening planned for all of you today to celebrate the generations of Singaporeans who have made Singapore what it is today.
That's right, Siti. Tonight we pay tribute to those who came before us, and remember that we are the dreams of our pioneers and that we are the pioneers of the future of Singapore.
That's right, Joaquim. We also have a special bicentennial parade coming up, which features some very unique and nostalgic floats.
You know, that's going to be great. And also we have a diverse lineup of performers, from stars of yesteryear to up-and-coming talent of today.
So you know what, guys? First up, we have our NDP crowd favorite, the Red Lions. They will be making their appearance very soon, and today is special because it marks the 30th year since the Red Lions first made their appearance in the National Day Parade in 1989.
And here are more fun facts for you, ladies and gentlemen. The Red Lions, before they were called that, they were known as the Singapore Parachute Team and the Singapore Commandos. They've been doing it since the 1970s.
That's right, Joaquim. And over the years, the commandos realized that they needed to create a special identity for this group of parachutists. And with that, the Red Lions Lions were officially inaugurated in 1996.
You know what? It's going to be great. Stand by all your cameras, your phones, and remember our hashtags, okay? Our Singapore. And you know what? Once you see them, you scream as loud as you can. And we just got word that they are already airborne. They're going to be doing the jump very, very soon. You guys, can I hear some screams?
10,000 feet, by the way.
Let's first have a look at behind the scenes video.
Dodging daggers at almost reach, making mistakes they can never teach. But these silver clouds won't dissolve to black. Let's lose our feet to a leap of faith, and bigger skies are lying wait. It's a long way down, but I got you back. We're right on the edge of it all. Are you ready to free fall? Ready to free fall? We're right on the edge of it all. Are you ready to free fall? Ready to free fall? Yeah.
And off they go from a height of some 10,000 feet or about 3 kilometers. Just let that sink in for a while. There's no room for miscalculation in a stunt like this, and that's why these men have to go through hours and hours of not just training, but as the video you saw earlier hinted at, of preparation as well. And it's not just about hurtling through the skies at a speed of 195 kilometers per hour. It's also about getting into formation. In fact, that goes on for about 5,000 feet before they execute what's called a bomb burst. Just to provide some perspective, their landing area at the Padang measures only about 110 meters by 60 meters. So you can imagine the level of precision the Red Lions must have in order to hit their target. And we're having splendid weather today, which means an unobstructed view to these daredevils dotting the sky, both for spectators gathered at the Padang and for you at home as well. Plenty of photo opportunities here today as they circle in on the arena, although I imagine the money shot will be right when the Red Lions actually begin arriving on stage. And I have to say, that's where the intimate setting of the Padang really lends itself to this year's performance. It's almost like being in a stadium. So spectators just meters away literally have a front row seat to the action. There you go, the red smoke is out, and that can only mean one thing, that they're about to arrive to a rapturous crowd. Stand by, the first of the Red Lions is about to come in. Leading the charge is Red Lions team leader, First Warrant Officer Melvin Ho, who's clocked in 1,300 jumps. Making it look so easy. Next up, First Warrant Officer Ng Chin Han with 1,100 jumps. Now imagine those folks at the hotels behind have a bird's eye view of the proceedings as the Red Lions swoop in on the target. Second Warrant Officer Lim Chun Heng there with 650 jumps following close behind. We've got Master Sergeant S. Rajendran coming in now. He's clocked 770 jumps. And you can see him there just navigating those wind conditions before arriving at the Padang. What a view these officers have. Second warrant officer Ong Ka Soon with 400 jumps coming in right now. Plenty of angling that needs to be done. They're there to arrive on the target. What a sight. Third warrant officer Jeffrey Heng entering the arena with 950 jumps. And if you've noticed, you'll see that everyone has been arriving on the same spot, which is testament to their skill as elite parachuters. There was First Warrant Officer Ivan Low, the School Sergeant Major from the Special Operations Tactical Support Center, the most experienced Red Lion with 1,600 jumps. Meanwhile, Master Sergeant Bruce Lee coming in now with 800 jumps. Last but not least, Lieutenant Colonel Arnold Low. He's commanding officer of the Special Operations Tactical Support Center. He's clocked 1,200 jumps. And he's in black today because he's the official photographer and videographer of this jump. Sliding in to a wonderful applause at the Padang. All 9 members of this year's team are dedicated parachute jump trainers at the Army's Special Operations Tactical Support Center. That was thrilling, wasn't it? The crowd appreciating the Red Lions' efforts. They're looking at some of the best jumpers that the SAF has to offer. It's extremely tough to even qualify as a Red Lion. It could take someone 10 years to even be considered to jump at NDP. A job well done to our brave Red Lions. They're just soaking in the energy from a great crowd here at the Padang. All no doubt thrilled at what they've just witnessed. What a way to mark 30 years since their first appearance at NDP in 1989. How about that to cap off a splendid performance with a salute to the nation.
Stopping, guys.
It sure was, but Abby, Joachim and Sonia, you know what? I'm loving the vibe and the energy around the Padang right now, but I'm sure we can get it even higher. So, shall we do another round of the Padang wave?
Why not, City? This one for everybody at home and all over the world. Blue sector, we'll start from you, and this time we do the wave with the flag. City, let's see if they're ready.
All right, my beautiful blue sector, they are definitely ready. We are starting from this side. You guys get ready at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! And pass it this way!
And what's a National Day celebration without a wave? We're calling it the Padang Wave this year, but it of course has its roots in Kallang. In fact, it was a staple during our national football team games to really cheer them on. And over the years, they've taken on different iterations, from the Kallang Wave to the Marina Bay Wave to the Padang Wave. They may have different names, but they all do the same thing, and that's to unite Singaporeans in celebration.
Okay, red sector, get ready. Give it your all. We're going to end strong and go! Go, go, go! Red sector looking beautiful. All right, give yourselves a big, big, big round of applause.
You guys look amazing. So spectacular.
You know what, you guys, This has truly been a great start to our parade. Spectacular looking Singapore. Now, get ready for yet another heart-stopping performance. We're going to be inviting the combined school bands of Bowen and De secondary schools. And also, thankfully we're not dancing, but there are some professional dancers from the Republic Polytechnic coming on. And also the beautiful vocals of Francis Lee and Dominic Chin. They're going to be taking your breath away with their performance. So without further ado, please put your hands together for them, please.
And you're looking at dancers from Republic Polytechnic, and they're joined by members of the combined school band made up of students from Bowen Secondary School and De Secondary School. And here's Amos Ng, the drum major, who's typically the symbolic leader of the marching band. He's also the man who has people on the edge of their seats as he flings his mace in an exceptional display of showmanship. If you haven't already figured it out, you're listening to the band's take on Uptown Funk, released in 2014 and originally performed by American singer and songwriter Bruno Mars. These 290 boys and girls are masters at multitasking. Just imagine performing a tune, marching in step, being able to find your positions on the field in order to execute beautiful formations like the one you're about to see. Those smiley face emojis keep up with the youthful vibe of this segment, and it's also a hint at the next tune that the band will play. See if your guess comes out right. Taken months of practice, but ultimately it's about having a good time, celebrating the nation's birthday with everyone at the Padang, even you at home, wherever you are. And remember, home is where the heart is.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome senior parliamentary secretaries, mayors, ministers of state, and senior ministers of state to this evening's parade.
Our senior ministers of state and ministers of state, as well as senior parliamentary secretaries, all arriving at the Padang now. Again, the red and white stand out because it is Singapore's birthday after all.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our cabinet ministers, senior ministers, and deputy prime minister to the Padang.
And our ministers turn to arrive at the Padang. Foreign Affairs Minister Vivian Balakrishnan right down the middle with his red and white outfit. Leading the way is Mr. Johnny Raja, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office. Mr. Desmond Lee, Social and Family Development Minister. Joining them are senior ministers Teo Chee Hean and Tharman Shanmugaratnam, as is Deputy Prime Minister Heng Swee Keat. It's his first National Day parade in this position since the cabinet reshuffle at the start of May. Mr. Heng is also Singapore's Finance Minister and a key member of what's been called Singapore's fourth generation leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of our Emeritus Senior Minister, Mr. Goh Chok Tong, to this evening's parade.
Mr. Goh is one of Singapore's elder statesmen, having first entered politics in 1976 when he was elected an MP for Marine Parade GRC, a constituency he's looked after till today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to welcome the distinguished leaders of Brunei Darussalam, the Republic of Indonesia and Malaysia to the Padang as they join us in celebrating Singapore's 54th National Day. His Excellency Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Prime Minister of Malaysia, and Tun Dr. Siti Hasmah, His Excellency Joko Widodo, President of the Republic of Indonesia, and Madam Iriana Joko Widodo. And His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassan Al Bolkiah of Brunei and Her Majesty Duli Raja Istri.
And this is the song I was asking you to guess earlier. Happy, originally performed by Pharrell Williams back in 2013. It turned out to be the most successful song of 2014.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of our Prime Minister. Let us put our hands together to warmly welcome Prime Minister Mr. Lee Hsien Loong.
And the Prime Minister's arrival heralded by a beautiful rendition of Where I Belong, the song that you saw performed earlier by Francis Lee and Dominic Chin, accompanied by some 290 other performers. This is Mr. Lee's
Singapore's
15th year attending NDP as Prime Minister.
We have lined up a special parade of vintage floats to bring you down memory lane as we reflect on how far Singapore has come. Ladies and gentlemen, NDP 2019 presents our bicentennial.
In our bicentennial year, 2019, it is fitting that we take time to look back and reflect on the massive transformation of Singapore over time. Some of Singapore's most iconic and beloved institutions first took shape in the 19th century, and they have grown and evolved alongside the country over the last 200 years. It is also timely to pay tribute to the human spirit and dedication that have helped to build up these institutions. These early pioneers exemplified the values of multiculturalism, openness, and self-determination. And these are the values that we have inherited from them, and that are now embedded within the Singapore DNA. They will continue to guide us as a people as we move forward together from Singapore to Singaporean. Please take out your flags and wave them as the floats go by.
First up, the Singapore Volunteer Corps started out as a militia unit in 1854 to supplement the local police force. Over the years, it's been crucial to peace in Singapore, and after several reorganizations, it's now the Singapore Armed Forces. The Tanjong Pagar Dock Company rode on the trade winds sweeping in from China, India, Indonesia and Thailand in the 1800s. It's come a long way from taking care of about 300 tons of cargo soon after it was established. PSA International now handles more than 80 million 20-foot equivalent units or TEUs. The Straits Times was established in 1845 to provide information to the public for information. It started out with 8-page weeklies but has since grown alongside other media to capture more comprehensively the key events in Singapore's history. Now, we can't talk about heritage without discussing one of our favourite pastimes. Yes, shopping was big even more than 160 years ago, and that was when Robinson's department store opened its doors. Back then, it sold items like rice and sugar, but gradually expanded its offerings to apparel and appliances. Believe it or not, the Singapore General Hospital began in 1821 as a small wooden shed catering to British troops. It's left those humble beginnings behind. It's now the centerpiece of a medical hub in Outram aimed at delivering affordable and quality healthcare to Singaporeans. Singapore's first police force had 11 officers, while the Singapore Fire Brigade over the years merged with the Civil Defence Force to form today's SCDF. Together, the police and SCDF strive to keep Singapore safe and secure. And here comes almost everybody's first bank, now known as POSB. It began by catering to the large unbanked population here, and now it innovates and digitalizes its offerings to stay relevant in a future economy. A similar story too for Singapore Post, which started in a tiny mail office with just 3 staff. But it expanded so fast that by the early 1900s it was described as the most important post office in the East. Today, SingPost continues to evolve by meeting the needs of a smart nation.
Keep waving those flags, Singapore, wave them high in the air. Wow, wasn't that an amazing sight to see those bicentennial floats bringing Singapore's history to life?
That's right, CT, and you know what? I think they deserve another round of applause. So yellow sector, when I say scream, you scream with me and show our appreciation for our float participants. Yellow sector, scream!
I like the energy, I like the energy. Red sector, remember what we said. We're gonna scream so loud. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, scream! Beautiful!
Green sector, one more time. When I count to 3, we say yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah! We're good.
And of course, we're saving the best for last. At the count of 3, I want my beautiful blue sector to scream as loudly as you guys can. All right, at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, scream! All of you guys sound amazing. Now, very soon, we'll be moving to the parade and ceremony segment.
And of course, for this year's NDP, we're back here at the Padang, which has seen so many of our nation's milestones, including the swearing in of Singapore's first fully elected government back in the year 1959.
That's right. Our coat of arms, our Singapore flag was unveiled here. Not forgetting our first ever NDP back in 1966.
Absolutely, and you know what, you guys? Remember what we said. Take out all your cameras, your phones. This is going to be absolutely incredible. I hope you remember those hashtags, Our Singapore and NDP 2019. It gives us really great pleasure to be here today. And you know what, you guys? Joachim, Siti, Abby, I think we've had so much fun so far. What a great introduction.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we say our, you say Singapore. Our!
And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, NDP 2019 is proud to present the Parade and Ceremony segment featuring our people. Ladies and gentlemen, the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major for National Day Parade 2019 is Master Warrant Officer Chong Wee Kiong Sean, Brigade Sergeant Major, 3rd Division Artillery.
Baris, Sade, Kya, Jula, Sanjata. Baris, dari kiri dan kanan, cepat jalan.
The parade and ceremony lends a real sense of protocol to the atmosphere, and because it traditionally features many full-time national servicemen as well, it's also an opportunity for proud parents
This year,
to
we commemorate
identify
the Singapore
loved ones.
bicentennial, 200 years since the Stamford Raffles first arrived on our shores. As we celebrate how far Singapore has come, we must not forget
Now,
our
much of that
shared
is down to
commitment
Singapore's
to
shared
building
commitment to build a strong and resilient Singapore through the 6 pillars of total defense: military, civil, economic, social, psychological, and digital defense. In fact, that last pillar was recently added as Singaporeans are increasingly exposed to digital threats as they head online. Let's hope that Singaporeans will build on this pillar even as the country continues to forge into a technologically advanced future. The SAF and home team contingents are a staple during our parades, and so too are our social and economic groups like NTUC, which showcase how far Singapore has come in those regards. In fact, one of Singapore's unique traits is the way our labour movement is organised. Over the years, our unions have adopted a compact with the government and employers not seen in other parts of the world. And NTUC says this has helped workers continue to benefit and grow, even in challenging times. And here you see our socio-economic contingents marching proudly together with their peers from the SAF and home team, putting in just as many hours, just as much sweat and equal hard work to make sure they get to salute the nation on its 54th birthday. Our youth also front and center of each NDP. Here are the uniformed youth organizations formed by our students. They're not marching just for show, they also represent our youth's resolve to defend Singapore and their collective stake in making sure Singapore continues to progress. Together, all these contingents represent Singapore's commitment to total defence, and this march exemplifies how every Singaporean plays a part to build a strong, secure and cohesive nation.
Boris, ke kanan, low, Rose.
The National Day Parade is a celebration of Singapore's independence. The parade is made of people from all walks of life, sacrificing their weekends, practicing together. As the parade RSM, it is my duty to ensure the contingents uphold the standards and execute their drills sharply.
I have always wanted to take part in National Day Parade, and I'm very happy to be given this opportunity. I feel very nervous, but I can't wait to show Singapore what we have been training so hard for.
我很开心代表工会和大家在一起。我每年参加，因为我喜欢看到我的老朋友。虽然有时很累，但这是我对新加坡的小小的贡献。
I am an SAFVC volunteer. I'm also a school teacher and a mother of 3. Serving in the Navy has allowed me to contribute to keeping Singapore's waters safe and open for international trade.
It's amazing to see how the parade has come together to what it is today. This is what we can achieve when we stand by one another.
Singapore's journey has not been easy, but we have always moved forward as one united people. This is the spirit that we want to capture in this year's parade. Happy birthday, Singapore!
Ladies and gentlemen, the parade commander, accompanied by the women police pipes and drums, will now take over command of the parade from the parade regimental sergeant major.
This year's parade commander is Lieutenant Colonel Alvin Chew Wing Kwai, commander of the operations group at the Naval Diving Unit. And here he is taking over command of the parade from the parade regimental sergeant major, Master Warrant Officer Chong Wee Kyong Shon, Brigade Sergeant Major, 3rd Division Artillery. Giving the parade a real sense of pomp and ceremony is the women police pipes and drums. They've been around since 1972, an incredibly skilled pipe band, often mentioned in the same breath as their international peers. They've been incredibly well received wherever they've performed, at home or abroad. And their overseas stints include Indonesia, Japan, Australia, France and Scotland. And I must say that on top of being adept musicians, these women are also full-time police officers.
Kawalan kombatan dari kiri cepat jalan.
Marching in now are the 35 regimental colours, the 3 state colours and Guard of Honour contingents. Here's a quick backgrounder on these military flags. The colours actually originated to help soldiers identify friendly forces on the battlefield. They also served to inspire and rally troops as they issued their last stand. Now, because of how symbolic the colours are, it was considered a great honour to capture an enemy's flags. Conversely, it was humiliating to lose one's colours. So to prevent that from happening, the Colours Party was formed. Their job was to protect the flags whenever they were brought into battle. The Colours role has since evolved to embody each institution's history, honour and tradition. And having the honour of leading the Colours Party this year is Colours Regimental Sergeant Major, First Warrant Officer Lim Lee Kiet. Also set to feature in today's parade and ceremony are soldiers from the 24th Battalion Singapore Artillery at Merlion Park. They'll be firing this year's gun salute. The Guard of Honour contingents are proudly formed by the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and the Singapore Police Force. Looking now at all 38 contingents this year, forming up and getting ready to salute Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong.
Kawalan kombatan ke dalam. Kawalan kombatan, pandang ke hadapan, pandang. Kawalan kombatan, hormat panji-panji, hormat senjata. Wes, rusuk, senjata. Wes, Saladai, right.
The parade commander this evening is Lieutenant Colonel Alvin Chu Weng Kwai, Commander Operations Group, Headquarters Naval Diving Unit. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the parade pays its compliment to our Prime Minister, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong.
Race, steady, yeah. Battery. 护反，再加大。Base 入手，再加大。
Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong will now take his seat.
In his National Day message, the Prime Minister acknowledged that global uncertainties abound, but, and this is timely as we mark our bicentennial, the way Singapore has navigated ups and downs throughout its history means it can weather any storm. In his words, it's the ingenuity of our people and the boldness of our spirit that is key.
Next up, the combined drum band, together with the youth from APSN Tanglin School, will execute an exciting performance.
Taking centre stage is the 24-strong combined drum band, which makes its debut at this year's NDP. Among them, members of the Singapore Armed Forces Band and the National Cadet Corps Band. It also comprises 8 drummers aged 13 to 16 from the Association of Persons with Special Needs, or APSN Tanglin School, and that's a social service organisation to meet the needs of those with mild intellectual disabilities. They've been practicing a long time for this, holding more than a dozen sessions at Nee Soon Camp and the Padang. The piece you're listening to is specially written for this year's NDP. It was crafted by military expert Tu Hazizi Jafar, who has a passion for working with youth. The piece starts off with a simple samba motif, but gradually escalates with layered drum lines and complex movements.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to welcome Her Excellency, President Halimah Yacob.
President Halimah Yacob arriving for her second NDP as head of state. She is the country's 8th president. And the president is being welcomed by a man who is also here in this capacity for the second time, Lieutenant General Melvin Ong, Chief of Defence Force of the SAF.
President, 护法，人家。
Ladies and gentlemen, now look up to the sky above the stage. 5 F-15 SG Eagles from the Republic of Singapore Air Force, led by Lieutenant Colonel Sherwin Goh, will execute a bomb burst in a salute to the nation. And here they come! Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Madam President, the parade is formed up and ready for your inspection, ma'am.
There's the 21-gun salute, the highest honor that can be conferred. It's normally reserved for the head of state. And what you're hearing are the booms from the firing of blanks from 4 ceremonial 25-pounder howitzers located off Merlion Park. The guns are operated by members of the 24th Battalion Singapore Artillery, and each of the 4 howitzers on board that raft requires 6 men to operate. Representing the Army in this year's Guard of Honor are men from the 1st Commando Battalion. They earned the honor after winning their 16th consecutive Best Combat Unit Award. The famous Red Berets underlining their sterling reputation in front of Singapore. Next up, the Republic of Singapore Navy, represented by members of the Naval Diving Unit. You're looking at men who've beaten the odds to be where they are. Out of every 450 men who are called up to serve, less than 100 become full-fledged divers. Coming up now are the men and women from the Air Power Generation Command as part of the Republic of Singapore Air Force. These are the personnel in charge of deploying the full might of Singapore's air power, manning the country's 4 air bases. To help the Air Force fulfill its mission, these men and women take on responsibilities that range from maintaining aircraft and bases to providing logistical support. finally, the men and women from Training Command of the Singapore Police Force. TRACOM, as it's known, trains and develops not just the core and professional competencies of police officers, but also instills ethics and values. And it's arguably more important than ever as the police force gears up to face technological disruption and evolving threats.
The ceremony will now drive our president around the park.
The crowd giving a rousing reception for President Halima, whom it seems is equally happy to engage and reach out. Remember, she's not just head of state, but as her activities have shown, a member of our community as well, championing the less privileged, the disadvantaged, the vulnerable segments of our society. Just last week, Madam Halima announced the focus of next year's President's Challenge, an annual fundraising event for charities. She said she wants to focus on empowering people with disabilities, and that could come in the form of employment, which she hopes would give them a sense of self-confidence, self-esteem, and well-being. At the root of it all, it's really about fostering their sense of belonging in a society that they can truly call their own. But it's not all one-way traffic. Perhaps it's a reminder that all of us can look out for each other and be a united people, even as we move forward as a nation. And what better time for such a reminder than as we celebrate everything that makes us Singapore.
The God of Honor will now execute the Feu de Joie, or Fire of Joy, to celebrate our nation's birthday.
Kawalan Kombatan akan tembak Feu de Joie. Isikan Brum. Hormat. Tembak. Isikan lagi. Hormat. Istirahat. Lagi. Hormat. Tembak. Kawalan kehormatan. Datang. Senjata. Kawalan kehormatan. Rusuk. Senjata. Madam President, may I have your permission to proceed and thereafter march off the parade, ma'am.
President Halima Yaakob will now take her seat.
Remember, it's not
This
just
is President
Singapore
Halima
marking a
Yaakob's
milestone,
second
so is the Istana, which commemorates 150 years. Just last month, President Halima launched what are called Istana cookies, containing ingredients found on the Istana grounds. The design on those packets was drawn by special needs students, another example of how the President is working to foster an inclusive society.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a tribute to the nation's 54th birthday, the RSAF has put together a special aerial display. Watch as the men and women of the RSAF prepare their magnificent flying machines for this year's aerial display. First up, flying in from your right in a Vic formation is the RSAF's newly acquired A330 multi-role tanker transport aircraft, escorted by two F-15 SG Eagles. Up next, from your front, two of our state-of-the-art multi-role F-15 SG Eagles will perform a challenging aerial display, showcasing precision and team excellence. Get ready to witness this breathtaking shackle maneuver as they cross each other at close range. Presenting the shackle. Center from the right, a solo F-15 SG Eagle will perform a high-G combat turn with full afterburners. The F-15 SG Eagle will round off the RSAF's aerial display with a vertical climb, signifying progress and prosperity for our nation. Above all, our home, our Singapore!
Akan berjalan keluar dalam masa cepat. Kawalan kehormatan dahulu, kawalan kehormatan ke kanan, yang lain ke kiri dan ke kanan. Bow! Cek!
And just as they let the Guard of Honor contingents in, the Colours Party will lead the parade in this march past. By being part of the party, these men are actually part of a long tradition that dates back to the early 17th century. Today, the colours remain symbols in modern armed forces to promote cohesion, esprit de corps, and instill a sense of pride and loyalty in the unit. The Colours Party is now forming up for the traditional march past together with the 4 Guard of Honour contingents. Set to march behind the Colours Party are the 6 contingents from the SAF and Home Team, 10 contingents from the uniformed groups, 16 socio-economic organisations and the combined band. Together, the contingents represent the country's commitment to the 6 pillars of total defence: military, civil, social, economic, digital and psychological defence. Colours are awarded for achievements in the fields of combat, training, administration, efficiency and service to the community. And leading the march past is the parade commander, Lieutenant Colonel Alvin Chu Weng Kwai. Definitely a proud moment for the man and his family. Following behind is the parade regimental Sergeant Major Master Warrant Officer Chong Wee Kyung Shon, accompanied by the 3 state colours. And Colours Regimental Sergeant Major 1st Warrant Officer Lim Lee Kiet commands the 35 Regimental Colours. The Army Guard of Honour contingent is next. It's formed by men from the 1st Commando Battalion and is led by Major Benson Chow Wen Lie. We turn our attention now to the Navy Guard of Honour contingent, formed by men from the Naval Diving Unit. This contingent is led by Major James Ong Chong Yu. We now see the Republic of Singapore Air Force contingent, comprising personnel from the Air Power Generation Command. This Guard of Honour contingent is led by Major Dina Kumar. Finally, Superintendent of Police Wilbur Sim leads the Singapore Police Force Guard of Honour contingent. It's made up of men and women from the Police Training Command of the Singapore Police Force. Now marching past are the uniformed services from the SAF and Home Team. Military Expert 4 Kenneth Neo Chun Peng leads the way for the Republic of Singapore Navy contingent, while Captain Lim Lee Chuen Amanda is at the forefront of the Singapore Army contingent. Next, the Singapore Police Force contingent led by Assistant Superintendent of Police Teo Kim Ying, and the Republic of Singapore Air Force contingent led by Military Expert 4 Chua Hao Zhe. SAF VC SV2 Neo Li Fang leads the SAF and home team volunteer contingent, which is making its debut at NDP, while Captain Chia Wai Kit keeps pace with the Singapore Civil Defence Force contingent. Cadet Inspector Ng Ching Xuan leads the National Police Cadet Corps, and next to him, Cadet Lieutenant Andrew Yap Zi Jian leads the National Cadet Corps Land. The Girls Brigade Singapore is led by First Warrant Officer To Yi Ling, and young adult Lua Jia Hui does likewise for Girl Guide Singapore. The Singapore Scout Association is led by Rover Scout Faith Ong, and the Boys Brigade is led by Senior Cadet Lieutenant Hu Chuan Yang Joel. The next two contingents are the Singapore Red Cross, led by Volunteer Officer Heather Low, and the National Cadet Corps Air and Sea, led by Cadet Captain Irian Shazrian. Finally, we have St. John Brigade Singapore, led by Corps Staff Officer Grade 5 Yo Kai Wen, and the National Civil Defence Cadet Corps, led by the Senior Cadet Lieutenant Muhammad Hilmi Muhammad Fadzil. Our social and economic groups are up next. First out the blocks is the PAP PCF contingent led by Mr. Saktiandi Supaat, and Ms. K. Thanalechmi leads out NTUC, which celebrates 50 years since adopting a stance of cooperation. Ms. Wong Wen Hui Linus leads the way for Keppel Corp, while Mr. Zhi Wei Meng heads the Semcorp Marine contingent. Singapore's National Water Agency PUB is led by Mr. Chin Wei Jie Edwin, and Singtel has Mr. Ko Chung Tik Terry at the front. Close behind are Dr. Goh Jia Hai and the rest of the People's Association Youth Movement, and OSIM International led by Miss Christina Chong. Miss Ng Wen Ya fronts Wan Changi, while Mr. Kurt Wee leads the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises. Kofu Group is led by Mr. Chu Tek Chuan, and One Team Singapore follows, together with Miss Adeline Tae Yok Kun. PSA International led by Miss Wong Kai Ling, followed by National Healthcare Group led by Dr. Sim Chin Sing Evan. And the final two socio-economic contingents are Nanyang Polytechnic led by Mr. Wong Po Sing, and Lee Ho Ti led by Miss Chu Yok Lee Janice. The marching music for the parade and ceremony is provided by the combined band made up of members of the SAF band, the SPF band, Singapore NCC Command Band, and the NPCC band. The combined band is led by band conductor Military Expert 5 Stephen Tan Ait Ki, and drum major Military Expert 1 Josh Chua King Hui.
When the British announced that they were pulling out in 1967, Singaporeans were anxious and unprepared. Dr. Goh Keng Swee knew that we had to quickly build up the SAF in order to defend ourselves. The preparation and training was very tough, but we wanted to make it work. At the end, when we drove the 18 tanks down Padang, we heard the crowd cheering, and there was a huge sense of achievement and gave everyone the confidence that the SAF was ready. Each year, I could see new equipment within the SAF. But the one thing that did not change is the commitment and fighting spirit of our people. And this is our strength in defending Singapore.
Leading the pack is Singapore's main battle tank, the Leopard 2 SG, together with the Mobile Column Commander Colonel Enes Chin Chi Wai and Brigadier General retired Colin Teixeira, one of the participants of the first Mobile Column in 1969. The Leopard 2 SG is fast, lethal and very well armoured, and that's why it's considered one of the finest in the world. And just in case your screens skew your perspective, these mean machines are incredibly intimidating when you see them up close. Each of them is about 3 meters tall and weighs in at 55 tons. Close behind is the Hunter, newly commissioned this year. It's the Army's first fully digitalized armored fighting vehicle. Its operators have a 360-degree view and can even control the Hunter's weapon system remotely. The Bionics is next up, and it's an armored fighting vehicle that dominates the front line with its remarkable mobility and firepower. It also comes with heightened safety features like rear view cameras. And how about this for an all-terrain tracked carrier? The versatile Bronco can maneuver in different types of terrain. And here comes the Terex infantry carrier vehicle. This homegrown vehicle can accommodate up to 12 troops, ensuring that our infantry can move swiftly and safely across the battlefield. You're looking at the Belrex Protected Combat Support Vehicle, which protects our soldiers with its superior firepower. And don't be deceived by the size of the Light Strike Vehicle Mark II. It looks nifty, but it still packs quite the punch with its anti-tank missiles and grenade launchers. Serving the battlefield are our unmanned aerial vehicles. These can collect critical information while keeping our troops out of harm's way. Here's the artillery formation's HIMARS system, firing its GPS-guided rockets up to 70 kilometers away. Surprisingly nimble as well, reaching speeds of nearly 100 kilometers per hour. The Safari weapon locating radar detects rocket fire against us with its early warning technology. It's one of the latest and finest pieces in the artillery. Nothing stands in the way of the Combat Engineer's L2 Armored Engineer Vehicle, which effortlessly clears visible obstacles for troops. And you've already seen this from earlier, the M3G float bridges, which enable our artillery to fire a 21-gun salute in the Marina Bay. In fact, it can carry up to 3 5-tonner trucks. The Mobility Support System is a new addition to the Combat Engineers. That rolled-up platform helps our tracked and wheeled vehicles over soft ground. Meanwhile, the Signals Formation's VSAT subscriber detachment helps the Army's different units communicate during joint operations. Here's another new addition to our arsenal. The wheeled recovery vehicle can secure and recover all wheeled vehicles used by the Army thanks to its recovery capacity of 35 tons. Making its NDP debut, the Aster 30 air defense system, which can engage multiple air threats simultaneously. The system is also incredibly lean, requiring just 3 people to man. That's the MP Star and the Spider, an armed advanced missile.
Over the years, the SAF and Home Team have contributed to global peace and security through peace support, counter-piracy, humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief operations. Our brave men and women in uniform have flown our Singapore flag high, going above and beyond to make Singapore proud. They have made a real difference in people's lives and have earned the recognition of our international partners. Without hesitation, they have answered the call of duty at short notice, serving in foreign lands and seas in harsh conditions, far away from home and loved ones. This is our strength in action.
Now this hardware, not just for show, they're more than capable of making a difference in the field. And here are yet more examples. The specialized marine craft are some of the smallest vessels in our Singapore Navy, yet these interceptors are built for speed. Twin engines at their rear churn out some 5,000 horses together. And helping fight terror is the combatant craft Medium, deploying our divers for special ops at short notice. This nifty boat can carry up to 15 troops, and it zips along at speeds of up to 40 knots. The Protector unmanned surface vessel looks like just another inflatable boat, but its remotely controlled navigation and weapons suite means it's more than capable of patrolling piracy hotspots like the Gulf of Aden. Next, the Scan Eagle UAV is capable of locking in on enemy targets far over the horizon. They paint a target for our frigate's Harpoon missiles over vast distances, even as we strike concurrently in the air with the Aster and underwater with our submarines' torpedoes. These weapons come in a variety of sizes, but each carries with it devastating effects. Our SCF is also big on disaster relief. The Army's water purification units have been deployed to flood-hit regions, turning unpotable water into clean drinking water. The SCDF's DART Urban Search and Rescue Vehicle takes our personnel to the disaster scene. The men here highly skilled in multiple types of search and rescue operations and firefighting. Rounding the column up so far is Mobile Column Sergeant Major Master Warrant Officer Neo Boon Kui.
Against an uncertain global landscape, the threats we face are becoming more complex. They can strike unexpectedly, threatening our loved ones and our way of life. Over the years, the SAF and Home Team have strengthened their integration to enhance readiness and provide joint security responses in the air, land and sea. National agencies and individual Singaporeans have also played their part in building Singapore's ability to overcome any emergency. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we can be assured that the SCF and Home Team stand ready to respond to any security threat, and that Singaporeans will rally together towards securing our Singapore.
But keeping Singapore safe and secure at home is also a big task. Appearing in formation are our bikes from the SAF and Home Team. Among them in black are our rapid deployment troops, the first respondents when terror strikes. Next, the Peacekeeper protected response vehicles, which help defend urban installations. They're hardy and flexible, providing the perfect shell for troops. Here come the vehicles from our CBRE engineers, capable of neutralizing any bomb threat. And in the event of a public security incident, these fast response and emergency response cars can get to the scene swiftly. Responding in serious incidents are our police tactical vehicles, highly versatile and armored to protect our officers. I'm sure you're familiar with the SCDF's Red Rhino, which helps get our firefighters to the scene of the blaze in double quick time. And close behind are the unmanned firefighting machines and a series of robots that are able to detect and fight fire autonomously. Fighting fires and deploying rescues at sea is the all-new DART amphibious vehicle, unveiled only late last year. It transitions from land to water in just 15 seconds. Supporting them are the fire medical vehicles, which can fight fires and provide medical relief at the same time, providing crucial support in emergencies. And capping off the segment is the combined platform ladder 60, which, as the name suggests, extends 60 meters high or as tall as a 20-story building.
National service began in 1967 amidst a period of uncertainty and hardship. The Merdeka generation were the early batches to serve national service and grew up during Singapore's struggle for independence. We salute our Merdeka generation for building national service to become a key national institution. As we move forward, every generation of NS men continues to build on our pioneers' commitment and will to defend our country. Every one of us must play our part in safeguarding our home, our loved ones, and our way of life. As we live the dreams of our pioneers, let us continue to be pioneers of our future. For this is our strength, our Singapore.
And now here's a tribute to our Merdeka generation. 39 individuals from the various services rolling in to a thunderous reception. Soldiers, airmen, policemen, firefighters, even those from the Navy, who all played their part to secure their new home. The crowd here well aware of the sacrifices that these men have made in the early years. And this is the first time that our Merdeka generation is being featured so prominently, collectively, at the National Day Parade. What a way to recognize our Merdeka generation, some might say on the grandest national stage of all, the National Day Parade. And if you thought everything went by too quickly, you can catch the column again tomorrow as it heads to the heartland. Some of these vehicles will roll into Bishan, Geylang Serai, Jurong East, Punggol and Woodlands. We now transition to the show segment of the parade, and we're starting at the beginning with Singapore's lifeblood, the Singapore River. And what a perfect time it is to do so as the sun sets and the stage goes dark for what's said to be a visual extravaganza. In the next hour or so, you'll be taken on a journey. The Singapore journey, as told by a veteran of our art scene, the creative director Dick Lee. And he'll have help telling that story with the crowd's LED wristbands, which, as you'll see throughout the show, will come alive in a spectacular sea of colour.
generasi dari orang-orang laut di Singapura.
我的老爸是伫1947年对金门历史坐迄阵来新加坡。
My ancestors came from the state of Bihar in northern India.
阿公安山头搬来新加坡。
Eu sou de Zabel Beng di Tantu Lugar.
My grandfather is a Dane from Denmark.
I'm Singaporean.
I think I'm a Rojan.
I'm from Wetlands.
1955 na Kerala இருந்து சிங்கப்பூருக்கு வந்தேன்.
That short video shows us how unique we are as Singaporeans. A disparate patchwork of cultures that have been woven into one people over time. And it all started at the Singapore River, which emerged as the center of our island's trade, commerce and finance. It's what Singapore's migrant forefathers first saw as they sought a new and better life on these shores. Here, about 400 members from the People's Association Performance Group are recreating what lay in wait for our pioneers. They each arrived with their distinct practices, cultures, food even, laying the seeds of Singapore's multicultural melting pot.
Just like one word, very grand, extravagant, full of colors. It's just like the whole kampung just come together and it's just like a mini NDP.
Kami bernikah pada 1 September tahun 1972 bertempat di Upper Booking Road.
Dalam majlis itu, makcik rasa bahagia sangat tengok saudara-saudara makcik semuanya, kaum keluarga jauh-jauh pun datang. Alhamdulillah sampai saat ini makcik rasa bahagia sangat dan itulah hari yang paling bahagia untuk kita berdua.
Many of these pioneers would have been met by the Malay community, whose iconic weddings have become mainstays of Singapore culture. Their grand affairs featuring a kaleidoscopic array of traditional apparel and music. And here they're carrying bunga mangga, a sight closely tied with Malay weddings. These props of tinsel paper traditionally lead the wedding processions and depict the palm blossoms of coconuts which were used in the old days. They symbolize well wishes for the married couple to have many children.
During Chinese New Year, my mother would light the firecrackers. My father would stand behind. In our new pajamas, we will be lighting and playing with firecrackers, and the floor will be all red.
The Chinese were among the first on our shores, bringing with them their colourful New Year festival. The dancers here, decked in gold and red, traditionally associated with luck and wealth in Chinese culture. They also brought Chinese opera to Singapore, synonymous with the brightly painted faces of its performers. And the wayang means theatrical performance in Malay.
Indian folklore encompasses thousands of years of culture, religion, traditional games and the arts. What strikes me most about the rich Indian folklore is its vibrancy.
சிங்கி இந்திய சமுதாயத்தின் கலாச்சாரம் நமக்கு இலக்கிய நூல்களான மகாபாரதம், ராமாயணம், சிலப்பதிகாரம் ஆகியவை சார்ந்துள்ளன. பரதநாட்டியம், கர்நாடக இசை இவை ரெண்டுமே நமது மரபை பேசுகிறது.
The Indian community in Singapore was the second largest here in the 1800s, and they too imported their unique customs from India. The peacock, for example, is central to Indian mythology and Hinduism. The peacock feather is associated with beauty and knowledge, and today is used to attract good luck and prosperity. And here you see movements inspired by the Kathakali, a traditional Indian dance that typically features elaborate costumes and colorful makeup to tell stories from Hindu epics and other folklore.
During Christmas, my grandmother used to make a special dish called fing. It used all the parts of the pig that was not wanted. And it has become my favorite dish because we only ate it at Christmas.
My favorite food is suji cake. We eat it at every celebration, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, and even funerals.
My Nana's devil's curry is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted. It's the most unique thing, and no matter how many times I try to make it, it will never taste the same.
Well, as the name suggests, Eurasian cultural practices are derived from both European and Asian influences, and this is represented very well in their food. Take, for instance, devil's curry, which was introduced in the video earlier. It's believed it was concocted as a way to not waste Christmas leftovers. So what you then get is a varied meat stew seasoned with Asian spices like curry leaves and lemongrass. And because many of the early Eurasians here had Portuguese Malaccan ancestry, much of their lingua franca, Kristang at the time, had elements of both Portuguese and Malay. Needless to say, they also inherited their dance forms from the Portuguese.
To strangers when they arrive on the shores of the Singapore River. People from all walks of life came together, and they bring so much heritage and culture with them. Despite their differences, they managed to find common ground and begin to build a future for themselves and their families. And as they set down roots here, they created a place that we can all call home.
But we only became Singapore when everyone began marching to the same beat. Singapore's story and by extension society continues to be a work in progress, but our qualities of multiracialism, religious acceptance and diversity aren't replicated in many other countries. These tenets that have resulted in a social compact that is now synonymous with the name Singapore.
day the judge announced that I'm going to be sentenced for a long period of years, and I thought that was the end of my life. It's like a death sentence. As it is, my life was really like a toilet bowl, and with a prison conviction, it's not going to get any better. And there was a time that I thought, should I just end my life at this point of time?
During the war, the siren is off. We have to run for our shelter. Wherever we are, the Japanese are very, very scary. If you are done wrong, they cut off your hand, they cut off your head. All of us are very, very scared.
Of course, I was afraid. In 1985, there was no information at all about HIV, how it is spread and how it is not spread. There was a real sense of fear. All the doctors, nurses, and staff were so frightened that nobody would take up the role.
Music has always been my biggest passion. I love rapping. So when I found out last year that I have vocal cord palsy and I will lose my voice, my world just collapsed.
You saw there how fears don't discriminate. Now 600 performers from the Singapore Soca Association will take you into their maze of uncertainty, depicting how fear traps and paralyzes its victims.
You feel it running through your bones, heart racing, rip through your soul. Start pacing, got no control. Hold on, you're not all alone. No, they will never stop me. Oh no. No, they can never do it. No, no. They can never do it. I am bigger than you thought I could ever be. I am built for this. You thought I could never be. 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 It's time to set it free.
Just survive. Oh, you will see me thrive. Can't write my story.
Hear the cracks on my knuckles while I conquer the struggle. I'm never gonna stop till my knees start to buckle. Rise from the rubble, stand tall with my own feet. For the line, I will fight.
Oh, you're so little. Victory is in my veins. I know it, and I will not negotiate. I'll fight it. I will transform.
Transform.
I will
Transform.
During the war, we had wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning to queue for the food. Sometimes there's no more left. Neighbors will share their food with us, and my aunties and my cousins and all will make quick cakes to go to the quarters to share the cakes. That's how we survived.
I remember my patient who was crying profusely. He cried and he cried, and his tears filled my shoulder pads. I felt so helpless. I didn't know what to do. I gave him a hug, and he felt so relieved. These hugs I learned from my mom. When I was a child, she comforted me, and now I use it for my patients.
There was total silence from my family because I knew that they didn't want to have anything to do with me. And then there was this officer. I was sitting down with him and he was talking to me, and he understood the struggles I was going through. He made arrangements for an open visit where I could actually meet my family, my daughter especially. I remember that Monday morning, I could hold her hand and just say, "Will you forgive me?" and that brought reconciliation to their family. And it carried me through all these years, even to now.
I told him he has two things, willpower and willpower, hence Will Smith. He also once told me his story about his great-grandmother, remember? Yeah, she got 13 kids, raised all by herself, and she didn't give up. So, why should I? He also said to me, every breath we take is a bonus.
Give up, that's my life motto. Through the obstacles, this life that I steer, moving from the past, and now I'm right here. Clouds go by, sometimes it rains. Think about the future when it comes to change. Not past, ever last, never stop climbing. No matter what's in front, don't you ever stop trying. Life is a constant race without a finish line. The dreams that I would chase forever in my mind. Sometimes you win, sometimes you feel like all is lost, and no one's there to hear your thoughts just come across. Stars never stop to shine, it's in your blood. To never slow down when life gets rough. Even if you fall, know you gotta stand tall. Push comes to shove, you gotta give your all. Give your all. Victory is in my face. Stand tall. Give your all.
Today, we are very fortunate. There's no more war, and Singapore is very peaceful. There is enough food to go around. We no longer have to starve, but we should not take it for granted. Till today, I continue to cook and share my food with everyone.
It didn't happen overnight. I had to work long hours and to re-establish this trust that I had broken. The groups of people that I've been impacting, ex-convicts, some even serving prison sentence, single moms, physically disabled people, I don't see their disability, but I see their ability. And the officer that helped me during those difficult times, today we are good friends, and he's one of those that is actually working with me together.
When I first started doing this, I was on my own. Over the years, my team grew, and I also started these HIV support groups because the HIV patients can help each other, so can their family members. That's the reason why I'm still here. The virus does not discriminate, but humans do. It's important the whole community helps out because no one should be left behind.
For me, I will always want to move forward, to be the voice for the community. If the situation is bad, it gives you a chance to make it better, to be great, to fill up that gap, to prove that you You can do it.
Nobody said it was easy. Nothing was really promised. I gotta be really honest with the things that I just witnessed. I see the strength, I see the pain. I feel the fight, just let it rain. I feel the soul, I see the goal. I let it down, let it unfold. So don't you ever give in. See how far the truth come. Stand as one and Padang. Feel the beat of the drums. Stand up, stand up. Stand up, stand up.
Singapore, stand up with me right now. Rise up as one.
Stand up and stand up.
NDP 2019, let me hear you sing along with us, let's go!
Singapore, do the best you can. Reach out for your fellow man. You gotta make a stand. Recognize you can play your part. Let it come right from your heart. Be prepared to give a little more.
Everybody wave!
Singapore, do it with a smile. Stand up for Singapore, we'll find it all worthwhile. Believe in yourself, you got something to share. Show us all you really care. Be prepared to give a little more. Stand up for
Therefore, in thinking about the future, he knows that the dangers faces are real.
If we lack the guts and the gumption to stand up for ourselves, then I say write it off, forget it.
But was only after the war, fight for independence came, it dawned upon me that yes, why not? We could rule our own country.
Only we may find it worthwhile to fight and die for our country, for our country, for our country, for our country, so that all of us can concentrate our energies and resources to the building up.
Houses, enough for the people. Food, enough for the people. Factories, out of the floor. You can do almost anything.
I say it is through a series of stresses and strains that forges a nation out of a group of loosely linked people.
Now that we know we can overcome what's holding us back from dreaming. After all, our pioneers' dreams are already being realized in all of us today. Maybe it's our turn to set the stage as pioneers of the future.
Life was tough during the 60s.
Nearly 900 primary and secondary school students are getting that message across, and if you're getting a major futuristic vibe from them, well, that's the intention, showing how Singapore's gearing up for an exciting future.
My childhood memories is going to the toilet. At that time, there was a bucket system.
In the kampong, and we'll get together on open spaces and kick about.
Yeah, my father, he's like in kampong, he's like head
Ketua Kampung lah.
I mean, drinks in the canteen would like cost 5 cents and noodles like 15 cents.
You're listening to the voices of real-life Singaporeans across the generations, and the idea is to show the major leaps that Singapore has made from a developing country to the thriving metropolis that we are today. And on that note, see if you can pick out the icons that have become instantly identifiable with our Singapore. You could say this skyline is a manifestation of our founders' dreams of a prosperous nation.
I say I love Singapore. It's because of everything. The food, the places, the environment. Singapore too. Because I mean, when I was a kid, my mom would always bring me there, and you feel.
If you're looking at this forming and thinking Changi Airport, well, you're absolutely right. It's always been a symbol of pride for Singaporeans. But as its continuous improvement shows, it's not good enough to rest on our laurels. It's about constantly innovating and breaking frontiers.
When I was a teenager, writing songs, I wish there was a single...
What a shot of the National Gallery there, formerly the old City Hall, juxtaposing the scene of our historic milestones with the possibilities that lay in store.
Clearly show that I am Singaporean and Singapore made me who I am today. Become more technologically advanced, cause more environmentally. I can become an engineer. I can build houses like for just people who could not afford.
And nothing quite exemplifies that philosophy of constant and consistent growth than the super tree, another more recent icon of Singapore's skyline. But it doesn't just represent growth and change, it also reminds us to stay rooted in the values unique to us as Singaporeans. Well, if you've been amazed at the light and laser show just like me, well, here's a quick factoid. Some of the flashing lights actually come from wristbands included in this year's fun pack, and they're remotely controlled by the show organizers with infrared technology in tandem with the choreography. If you find the devices familiar, well, you're right, you've actually seen them before. The technology was featured at the National Day Parade in 2016 to amazing effect. And what better way to usher in tomorrow than with the indomitable spirit of a lion? This giant reminder of our pride and confidence in Singapore's future is 6 meters tall and 8 meters long. A truly majestic sight to behold, even as 900 school children show us the energy and effort that are crucial for big dreams to become reality.
We'll do our part, stand together, heart to heart. We're going to show the world what Singapore can be. We can achieve, we can achieve.
Come on, Singapore, now's the time! Sing along with me!
For we are never done building Singapore. It's every generation's duty to keep on building for our children and for our future.
My mother has always been a pillar of strength for the people around her.
My dad inspires me to be a better person, to never give up hope for a brighter future. I'm so proud of him. I see his strength more than anything else. When I grow up, I want to be just like him.
These are the stories my grandmother told me, and I'll share with my own children. From generation to generation, this is our story, our home, our Singapore.
Remember the days we sat out together with faith. Remember the times so fine when we thought nothing could stand in our way. Then things weren't the same. The life that we knew had to change.
We struggled through the darkest storms we thought we couldn't take.
Oh,
Through many years gone by, we've moved ahead together. We've built a brave new world where we could shine and grow.
oh, and now we only have to look towards tomorrow to carry on the dream as far as it will go. So now we look around us and we see
A nation built with love by you and me.
a land to treasure right down to the core. Our home, our heart, our Singapore.
Our home, our heart, our Singapore.
To my people of the future, we built it for the ones that dream. Hand in hand we'll make our land, our home the place to be.
From young to old, how stories unfold, moments like these we speak.
Words that last forever, worlds that come together to show that we're all the same. We'll break the chains to make a change.
Burn bright, our lions see the flame.
And amazing as it seems, it all started with a dream.
But the dreaming isn't done, 'cause the best is yet to come.
Deep in my heart, I just know, right from the start, we will grow. Look where we are, we've come so far. There's still a long, long way to go. With all of my heart, I will care. I'll play my part, I will share. With family and friends, together we'll stand. And in the end, hand in hand, we will get there.
Truly, where I know I must be, where my dreams wait for me, where the river always flows. This is home. Surely, this my senses tell me. This is where I won't be alone. For this is where I know it's home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise to recite our pledge and sing our national anthem together.
We, the citizens of Singapore, pledge ourselves as one united people, regardless of race, language, or religion, to build a democratic society based on justice and equality, so as to achieve happiness, prosperity, and progress for our nation.
Mari kita rakyat Singapura sama-sama menuju bahagia. Cita-cita kita yang mulia berjaya Singapura. Kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru. Majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu. Semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru. Majulah Singapura. Majulah Singapura.
A truly stirring rendition of our national anthem by Ramli Sarip, one of the forefathers of Singapore rock culture. Now, after an emotional roller coaster, it's time for the party to start in earnest, and I can't think of a better way than to sing along with our favorite National Day tunes, accompanied by the pops and whistles of fireworks lighting up a magnificent skyline. So go ahead wherever you are, at home with family and friends, in the car, overseas even. This is your time to soak it all in, sing it loud and sing it proud.
Madam Halima Yaakob, our president, will now take her leave. Please put your hands together to wish her a very good night.
President Halima Yaakob taking her leave. What a night it's been for her. And she's about to meet many Singaporeans from all walks of life who have given up their time to celebrate not just the nation, but what it means to be Singaporean. In fact, the President touched on that theme in her National Day message just a couple of days ago. She focused on our similarities instead of differences. Some of these commonalities include a deep love for the nation, wanting to make a better life for ourselves, and a desire to live in a kind society. And we've seen real-life examples from the various characters featured at this National Day Parade. Many of the participants tonight eagerly anticipating a meet and greet with the President. In fact, it's been a tradition for presidents past and present taking the time to personally thank as many performers as possible before calling it a night. And you'll notice as well that the stage is now a microcosm of Singapore, and that diversity is something that President Halima has consistently championed as a trait that should be celebrated. It must be a bittersweet moment for the performers and participants, with all their hard work culminating in this splendid show. Hopefully it's not goodbye to the friendships forged over the months of lost weekends, toil and perspiration. That said, judging by the look on their faces now, well, it's all been worth it. And this is something that's been quite a Singaporean trait as well, isn't it? The Wi-Fi. Many years from now, these kids are going to be digging through social media, and these photos are going to bring back so many memories. The President obliging as many as she can on this momentous night. Taking the time to thank as many performers as possible. And here she is, acknowledging the contributions of Singapore's Merdeka generation. And those souvenirs, those photographs are going to stand the test of time. All that hard work now at an end, and what a way to cap all those months with a meet and greet with the President. It's not every day that you get one of those. But I believe the President is about to call it a night. And you can already see the celebrations beginning on the Padang stage. These performers letting their hair down. I can only imagine how it must feel like this National Day Parade. And she's still shaking hands, the President. What a way to cap the president's second NDP as head of state. I'm pretty sure it won't be one she'll be forgetting anytime soon. Good night, Madam President.
You have been amazing tonight, and let's end it the very same way we started, where we say our. Everybody here, you say Singapore. Our. Singapore, what a night it's been. Once again, from all of us here at the Padang, happy birthday, Singapore!
Well, I'm sure you'll agree it's been a riveting evening. We started the celebrations with a statement that this is our Singapore. And over the course of a few hours, we've seen how we've done so and how we continue to do so. In between, we cheered, commemorated, we celebrated, we cast our minds to making the best of our nation. And like we heard before, it's almost a brand new starting point, isn't it? A fresh generation of pioneers to build on Singapore's potential, limited only by our imagination. Some of these aspirations may be daunting, intimidating even, but as a wise person once said, if your dreams don't scare you, well, then they probably aren't big enough. My name is John Leong, and it's been a real pleasure being with you this National Day. Here's wishing Singapore a very, very happy birthday, and I wish you all good night.
Too many years gone by, we moved ahead together. We've built a brave new world where we could shine and grow.
Oh, and now we only have to look towards tomorrow to carry on the dream and as far as we'll go.
So now we look around, so we see
Ooh, a nation built with love by you and me.
I want to treasure right down to the core. Our home, our heart, Singapore.